Shalom. About to go ahead and get started here. Windy today, but it is what it is. Just a little windy, you know. We get started here. Before I do, give all praise and glory to our production. And I'm gonna try to be out here as long as possible with this wind. You know, I'm gonna eventually forget to put my foot on this camera, and it's gonna just fly over this phone holder, you know. So I'm gonna give it a couple minutes and see how it goes. Maybe 45 minutes. Do it again. I'm trying to aim for an hour, but you know, we'll see. Talk to the spirit. Let's kick it off because I gotta get up and go early in the morning anyway. I gotta hit the road. So I got to get up on time. It's Matthew 7 and 13. It says, "Enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way." So yeah, enter at the straight gate. You know, the narrow path, if you will, man. That's the only way you're gonna get into those chariots, man, to be delivered out of this hellhole. You know, before the nuclear destruction takes place. You know, you have to enter in at the straight gate. So broad is the way that lead up to destruction. So yeah, the broad way, meaning the way of the world, leads to your destruction, Jake. So-called Negro Latinos and Native Americans. That do it thou wilt spirit. Aleister Crowley, man. You can just do whatever you want to. There's no repercussions behind it. You know, that's what the world pushes. And when it comes to something spiritual, you can do whatever, you can lay down with whatever, eat whatever. But you can't break society laws, though, man. But when it comes to the Bible, you know, it's all go. Do what you want, man. You know, and that's led to our destruction, man, every time. Trying to follow the way of the heathens, man. Because in many there be which many go. So I can read that. And many there go. Let me read that over. It's Matthew 7 and 13. Enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. So yeah, it's easy to take the wide path, man. You know, that broad way. But that's easy to take. They say everybody's doing it, you know. So why not me? All these millions of people can't be wrong, you know. And when you're on that narrow path, you know, there's a few amount of people on that path, you know, and people look at you like, hey, what's wrong with you? You're not on the broad path, the broad way like us, man. You know, so you got to be doing something wrong the way they see it. But this is the one you ignorantly call Jesus. He's saying, hey, go through the straight way, man, that narrow path. But it says many say to hell with that. You got better things to do, you know? And believe me, that broad way is easy. I've been on that broad way. It's easy. Verse 14, because straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. So yeah, few find that narrow path, man. Most time they choose a select amount of people to go on that narrow path, man. You know? It's very narrow. It says, and it leadeth to life. Demon. Demon power, bro. Oh boy. Let's go. And demons. But hey, just keep acting up and the Lord's gonna mark you, man. You know? You know, they don't do all that at the white folks church, man. You know, you ain't gonna pull up in front of Joe Osteen and do all that. I just had my list. You know, but nothing can stop this word though, man. Nothing. It's already out. You know, whether somebody gets it or they don't, it's already out. We just waiting for the destruction. You know, everybody's got their lot, man. I got my lot to bring this word up. Other people got their lot just to die, man. Just to be put to death. So, you know, I'm just playing my part. Psalm 73 and 26. Well, let's start at 27. For lo, they that are far from thee shall perish. So if you far from the Most High, you're going to perish. You know? You know, and nobody's going to be able to bail you out from this. You know, you ain't going to be able to call on sweet Jesus, bail you out when the Most High got it for your ass, man. Because thou hast destroyed them all that go a whoring from thee. So the Most High destroyed everybody who went a whoring away from him. And you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans are good going off and a whoring from your power. And it says, thou hast destroyed all of them. Yeah, let me reread that. So the Most High has killed all of them that go a whoring from thee. You know? And it's beautiful, man. Because no one likes a unfaithful partner. Because the Most High sees his people on this sign as his woman. And if you got a woman that's always cheating on you and being a whore, according to the scriptures, you're supposed to put her to death, man. You know? But you can't do that here in America. So-called white man ain't gonna let you do that. So what the Most High does, since he's the Most High, meaning nobody's above him, he can do what he wants to, man. So he can put you to death, put the so-called white man to death, or anybody else. No one tells the Most High what to do. Verse 28, but it is good for me to draw near to the Most High. So yeah, it's good for me to draw near to the Most High. Why? Because hey, all hell getting ready to break loose. They're warning about the oil running low, no gasoline in a few weeks, no diesel, no jet fuel. So eventually trucks gotta stop running like that, and planes carrying cargo, the amount's gonna reduce and eventually come to a stop. So you got no food and no goods being pumped into the economy. So that leaves the empty shelves. That leaves the riots. That leaves the fucking riot in the streets. No food. Hey, you're gonna see some people, turn real ugly. If you can't eat, you ain't ate in 3-4 days, it's gonna get serious out here. So it's good for me to draw near to the Most High because he gave me the vision to see all this coming, man. So I'm gonna stay in the secret place. Since I have put my trust in the Lord, the Most High, that I may declare all thy works. So yeah, I'm putting my trust in the Most High, man, to bail me out of what's getting ready to come down the pipeline. Eventually 911 is not gonna work. You're gonna see some shit like Katrina ×5 out here. No food, no water, no shelter. Just straight chaos. So it's good for me to draw to the Most High. Like I said, man, he gave me the eyesight to see what's coming. Even Trump said a few weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, this is the calm before the storm. Because I looked at something the other night, regular unleaded, just regular now, in Alaska is like $9. I think it was $7. Yeah, $7 for regular unleaded, and diesel was like $9. So what you getting ready? What you think is getting ready to hit here, man? On the mainland, so to speak. Because this war is getting ready to pump back up with Iran. And Iran already came out and said, hey, you're going to be looking back on $4 or $5 a gallon of gas. Like that was the good days. And the Most High is leading us straight into it, man. Jake love to play games. But keep playing. Keep playing, man. Because actually the joke is on you. The joke is on you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. The joke is on you. Little do you know, the Most High is getting ready to put y'all asses to death, man. In vast numbers. And that day I'm talking about, all this time, Jacob's trouble is what I'm talking about. Getting ready to fuck y'all over one good time, man. One good last time. You know, and a lot of y'all deserve it, man. Actually, the 2/3, all y'all deserve it. You know, ain't some of y'all. All the 2/3 that's slated for death deserved it. You earned it, man. Because you're not gonna turn back to the Most High. You know, you want to do things your way, like Frank Sinatra, man. You know, so you can play with your little car remote, make your alarm go off, try to stop the word, and you just marking yourself for death. You interfering, you hindering the word, man. Because the scriptures say, this word does not go out void, man. If I'm out here, there's nobody around, it's still gonna resonate and hit something, man. That's how much power this Bible has. So by him being there, playing with his little alarm, either he gonna get delivered or he gonna get put to death. Most likely gonna get put to death. You know, if he did that intentionally. So yeah, it says in the last sentence, it says that I may declare, the last verse, that I may declare all thy works. Yeah, I'm gonna declare all the works of the Most High because, hey man, like it says in, I think in Sirach 2, if you believe in him, he will help thee, man. So if you believe in the Most High, he will help thee. And he been helping me time after time after time after time, man. You know? And I kept believing every single time. Even when it looked like he wasn't gonna pull me out of it, man. I'm like, oh, this is it. But you know, I kept believing. They say stay faithful to the end, man. And every time I thought it was over, hey, you know, throw my ass a bone, man. So yeah. So in the perilous times that's coming, the sword, the famine, the plagues, you know, that Ebola pumping right now, man. The sword, Jacob's trouble. I'm gonna put my trust in the Lord still, man, to guide me through. You know? Matter of fact, it's a precept. I forget where it's at, but it says the Most High will be your guide, man. He's going to guide the elect what's getting ready to come to the shores of America. People talking about hard times. You ain't seen hard times yet. You getting the whiff of hard times right now. You know, there was some guy talking about, oh, we having hard times right now, but my daughter's on vacation. Like, what kind of sense that make? You know? I mean, you going through hard times, but your daughter on vacation right now. You know, you're still able to buy something to eat. You know, shit ain't as bad as you think it is. You know, yeah, it's high as hell in the store, but you still can buy it. You know, you ain't seen what the Most High got in store for the 2/3. You know, when all the food is gone, all the drinkable water is gone, man. or what they call it, potable water. When all that's gone, then you gonna know what fucking hard times is, man. When you got to fight for your meal out here in these streets, you got to get your knife game up or your gun game up, man. To fight for your next meal. Then those gonna be hard times. You know? James 4:8. Draw nigh to the Most High, and He will draw nigh to you. So this is simple. Most said, draw nigh to Him. He's gonna draw nigh to you. He's gonna draw close to you. Simple. You can't get no simpler than that. But you'd be amazed how many of our people refuse to take this simple step. Look at it. Hell you looking at? You know, something as simple as this. Well, let's go on. You know how people like it the hard way. You know, like Police said, hey, we can do this the easy way, or we can do this the hard way. Let's go on. It says, cleanse your hands, ye sinners. So cleanse your hands, you sinners, because the nation of Israel is the only nation that can sin. So stop willfully committing sin, Jake. So-called Negro Latinos and Native Americans. You know, like Yahweh Shah said, go and sin no more. You know? And purify your hearts, meaning your mind. Ye double-minded. Yeah, you can't be double-minded. You know, I want to serve the Lord, you know, but I still want to sell this dope though, you know. You know, I want to serve the Lord, but I ain't through busting it open on the bar at the club though, you know. You know, I want to serve the Most High, but I'm still trying to fuck old boy, old lady, you know. So you can't be double-minded in this thing. You got to be fully committed. You know, once you get into this and start pushing this truth, start feeding the flock, there's no going back. There's no looking back. You know, you can't have that Lot's wife spirit when you come into this truth. When you know, like the scripture said, hey man, we are prisoners of hope. Once we get into this, you know, but the key word is prisoners. So you're a prisoner when you get into this. You know, and this is the best prison you could be in right here. You know, some of you jail niggas, man, y'all love going to prison with a bunch of men. For me, I like this prison that I'm in. You know, being a servant of Yahweh by shit. Yeah, but this, you know, I get some perks. You know, get sick, Most High heal my ass. You know, I get in a bind, Most High bail me out. You know, or He gives me the knowledge to get myself out of things. You know, giving me that wisdom. So hey, you know, I'm loving it, like they say. You know, but a lot of people don't like to walk this path, man. like I said earlier, I brought it out in Matthew 7. This is a narrow path to walk on, and it's not easy either. You know, it's not an easy walk. This walk, yeah, you can walk it, but it's the spiritual side, the mental that gets people in this. This is a hard battle. You know, this was some physical, you could beat it. You're like, oh, I can do it, no problem. But the mental and the spiritual side, you know, it drains a lot of men. You know? And it's just easier to go back in the world. You know, you can go in that world and you can go back to eating your damn catfish. You can hang out the cat, you know, with that shit, the crawfish balls and shit. You can hang out there and drink your beer. You know, sucking on heads. You know? But they say pinching tails and sucking on heads. You know, you can go back to doing that. Got you a damn 2-foot long shrimp po' boy. So it's easier to go back to that path, man. You know, you don't have to ask and read what's in your damn food all the time. You know, you could just go back and just order something off the menu. You don't have to ask, hey, if this in it, you know, do y'all put such and such in it? You know, you can just go down the menu and pick whatever you want. You know, you can get and don't even talk about the pork chops. Niggas love pork chops, man. You know? Believe me, I was there. I was there too. Nigga love a pork chop, bro. Believe me, I was there too. I couldn't wait to get one, you know? But now, I damn near fight you. You try to give me a pork chop now, man. You know? You know, them damn near fighting words now. You know, my whole demeanor changes. Somebody try to offer me something unclean, man. Especially when they know I don't eat the shit. And they still trying to offer it to me. You know, I'm damn near ready to go upside your fucking head, man. You know, I had to have the spirit to refrain from me punching your shit. Trying to make me go off and sin against my power, man. I got enough problems. You know, trying to walk this walk. I don't need nobody trying to fucking entice me. You know, I got to refrain from punching your shit. You know, so you can't be double-minded once the Lord bring you into this, man. You got to put away all them wicked ways. You know, and that's hard, especially in this world. Everything is just pick up the phone, whatever you want, right there, man. You know, ain't no more waiting now, man. But me personally, you know, I don't see nothing to go back to, man. You know, at least when I was coming up younger days, you know, you can go out to a party, to a club or something, meet a chick, you know, go to house parties, have fun. Now you go somewhere, everybody on their damn phone, man. You know, taking a fucking picture every time you look around. Or Googling, you know? It's like, what the hell are you looking at? You can look at that shit at the house, man. You know, we actually had a little bit of fun. You know, so because that time me and my woman get something to eat, and it was these kids on the date, double date, and you know they were sitting at the table, waiting for their food. And all four of them was on the phone, man. None of them talking to each other. It was all of them on the phone. Right then, I knew it was fucked up right then. And that was years ago. And fast forward to the day, there's no way I want to go back. You know, you know, I'm missing nothing. You know, so you got to get in that mindset too. Once you come to this, you got to realize, hey, there's nothing back there in the world for you. Nothing but a bunch of chicks with diseases, niggas scamming you, ready to rob you or kill you. You know, lying on you. Just the same old when we was coming up, but worse, man. At least we had a few rules, a few codes, you know. But now it's anything goes now. So why would I want to leave that? I mean, leave this to go to that. You know, that's just the way I look at it. So let's go on. So yeah, you can't be double-minded coming into this. You got to be like, hey, this is it. You know, I'm where I need to be, and I ain't going nowhere, man. You know that, and that's been my mindset ever since. You know, I'm back in, I wouldn't say complete good graces, but you know, I'm on the right track. I know who my power is. I know his name. You know, I put yeah, I have a good grace. You know, the man of the Lord, the servants on the highways and byways, we in the good graces of the Most High. You know, even though his son is dealing with us right now, you know, but he sent us to his son, man. You know, so this is a good place to be. Why would I want to, you know, go through all this way just to go hang out with some damn tramps, man? You know, believe me, I was in that game, man. You got to keep switching them out, man. You're gonna go through a whole platoon of them before you can find you a decent one. You know, been there, done that. And I hear the game is real bad now. You know, I want to go through that again. I got to entertain. These bitches cost a lot these days. You know, they want purses, cars. You know, so I'm glad I got in early and got out, man. You know, so I wouldn't trade none of that for what I'm doing right now. You know, and plus for me, it's even harder now. Well, I take it back. It'd be easier if I went back in the world. Just hypothetically speaking, right? Let's entertain it a little bit. You know, that means you got to celebrate Christmas again, Thanksgiving. You know, I never did like that shit when I was in the world. You know? So it's even harder for me to find somebody because I don't celebrate holidays anyway. Birthdays, that's a no go. So my dating pool gets slimmer and slimmer, man. You know, the only thing I did celebrate when I was in the world was New Year's Eve. That was it. Everything else, I didn't give a flying fuck about. So, so I'm completely out the game. No, why would I want to go back? I'm just gonna have to settle if I went back into the world, man. And I'm too old to sell them. You know, I ain't doing that. I want what I want now. This is Isaiah 55:6. Seek ye Yahweh while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near. So yes, seek Yahweh now while he may be found. And how you do that? Through his men that he set up. Be out here on these streets, man. Because we need power, man. His servants, prophets. You know? We lead you to the Most High. How about Shemi outside the right way, man? You got to be, like I'm saying, there's a certain way how the Most High like this shit done. And number one, you got to start with the Son, man. You know, and you got to start fearing the Most High. You know, so there's some processes first. Something that your pastor never taught your ass, man. You just come as you are. That's all he knows. And pass the collection plate around. You know? Come as you are. And don't forget to pay the tithes. And Jesus love everybody. That's his main 3 sticks right there, you know? You know, and their favorite word is blessings. It says, call ye upon him while he is near. Yeah. All right. So yeah, he's near, man. He's still, you know, on call, man. Let me see if I can find that. Jeremiah 23. 23. Am I a power at hand? Says Yahweh, and not a power afar off. So the Most High, he's on demand, better than cable, man, better than satellite. You know, he's on demand, and he's not a power afar off, man. His arms ain't too short to where he can't bail your ass out. Anyway. You know, contrary to what you've been taught all your life, that the Most High hands are tied, you know, Satan up there beating him, you know, they fighting back and forth. You know, he don't have any power to do anything, but hey, here it is in Jeremiah 23:23. He said, and not a power or a God afar off. No, he's hands on, man, on everything in the earth. Even your little basketball head. You know, he's not a power far off, man. He's on demand. You know, so he's a living power, man. He's not this fairy tale like the world likes you to believe. No, I go on some videos. You know, people, I read the comments. Oh, you believe in that Bible? You know, God don't exist. Yeah, I should listen to you. You know? Here it is, you backing up no kind of evidence. You got no kind of facts. You know, no books. You know, no scrolls or nothing. I should just take your word for face value. You know, not too long ago, you were just shitting on yourself as a child, man. You was having your diaper changed. Now all of a sudden, you know, you got all the knowledge in the earth, man. Your conclusion is there's no God. Why would I listen to you? You know, you probably sitting in your mama basement eating some damn Doritos, man. You know, drinking a damn Mountain Dew or something. You know? No, so I don't pay you fools any attention, man, when it comes to that. If you can't see there's a power, then hey, I can't talk to you. You know, there's so much overwhelming evidence, man, not just from the Bible. Even scientists come to a conclusion that hey, you know, there's something. They know what it is, but they ain't gonna say it. You know? And you know, and the men of the Lord, we don't need them to say it because we already know it's one. Let's go back to the Isaiah 55. Let's start at verse 6 again. Isaiah 55 and 6. Seek ye Yahweh while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near. Yeah, so call on him while he's near, while he's still available. Because there's going to be a time where all this is going to be shut off. The pipeline to the Most High is going to be shut down soon. Man. And it's going to be pure judgment after that. You know? Verse 7. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts. So yeah, you got to forsake your wicked ways, Jake. You know, I ran across a Jake the other day, man. I was out on this delivery. He fucking got tattoos all over his face, his head all tatted. You know? Look like a pure degenerate, man. You know? That's degenerate type of behavior, man. So you got to stop with the tattoos, man. Now, for you, you already got them, and you know it is what it is. But you can get them removed. But once you come into this, you don't go and get more tattoos. You know, you don't come out here and start getting you a cross and shit on your neck. You know, getting a dove on your back. You know, you got to forsake those wicked ways, man. It says the unrighteous man his thoughts. Yeah, you got to put away them wicked thoughts, man. You can't wait to slide on somebody's woman. You know, you planning to hit a lick. You know, because a nigga's always scheming. And it ain't never to do nothing good either. Last time you heard of a nigga thinking of a plan to actually do some good, I have never heard. Like, yeah, I'm gonna go over there and start putting this work in. I'm gonna give me a corner and start doing the work just like that man doing, like that brother out there doing. I'm gonna start waking my people up. Now, but you know what's on a nigga mind right now, man? How you gonna commit adultery? What abominable food he about to eat? And what the hell he can steal? That's on a nigga's menu, man. What can he steal? And don't forget lying. A nigga will lie to you in a minute, man. You know, I almost take nothing for face value when somebody tell me something. A stranger anyway. Somebody I don't know, I don't believe shit you saying. You know? I just automatically assume you lying. You know, I act like I'm buying it. Oh yeah? Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh-huh. Really? Come on. Yeah, I sit here and say that shit all day. I don't believe shit you telling me though. You know? I listen to your story and your bullshit. But that's as far as it goes. It says, and let him return unto your house. So yeah, you gotta get rid of them wicked ways, Jake, and them wicked thoughts, man, in order to get back in the good graces with the Most High. Man. Scripture speaks about how somebody always in evil, roughly paraphrasing, can't nothing good come from it. Man. You know, when you can't wait to grow that next gar, or you can't wait to sell that next sack or whatever. You know, you get out of that and you plan on how to rob somebody. Eventually, it catches up with you, man. You know, some way the Most High have it where you have some other nigga just like you, or crazier than you, kill your ass, man. So always immersed in wickedness, man. It ain't gonna turn out good for you. See if I can find that because I like that precept. Give me a couple minutes. I'm gonna see if I can find it. And I got that precept in my damn gallery, but I don't want to. It's gonna take me a minute to find it. This ain't pulling up. I must not be wording it right. I think it's in Sirach. Oh yeah, here it is. This Sirach 12:3. There can no good come to him that is always occupied in evil, nor to him that giveth no alms. So yeah, no good can come to you niggas, man. Always occupied in evil, man. So that's why when I see you on the fucking news, you know, talking about little Tyrone and got his shit blown off, you know. You know, I said, damn, what that wicked nigga done, man. It done caught up with it, you know. You know, I'm be like, oh man, that's a sad story, man. And you notice on the news, They always about to turn their life around. You know? Every fucking story is like, yeah, he was just starting to turn his life around. Like, how is that possible? That's the new one now. He was just starting to do good, man. And the most I smoked his ass, man. Sent him up to the spirit world. Apparently, it wasn't fast enough, man. He wasn't moving fast enough. Or she wasn't moving fast enough. Because most I killed Keisha too, man. You know, he fucking put Keisha to death too. Consuelo, Pedro. You know? Most I put you tribes to death, man. You always occupied in evil, man. You know, you're supposed to be keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments to the best of your abilities here. You know, you still under contract, Jake. You ain't free from the covenant. Man. I don't give a damn what your pastor telling you, man. Your ass ain't free. You ain't free to do what the hell you want to do, man. So I don't care what that nigga up there remixing the scriptures, telling you we no longer bound by the law. You know? Fuck you mean we ain't bound by the law, nigga? You know? Fuck you mean? We still bound by the law, man. Matter of fact, the Most High said, hey, well not Yahweh Shai's son said, he ain't gave no man no license to sin. No, you ain't got no license to sin, man. I mean, you can't do what you want to do. Who gave you niggas the authority to just say, you know what, the hell with the Bible, and I just put it in my pocket and keep the laws when I feel like it? It don't work that way, man. You so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, you still under contract, man. You still under fucking contract. And the Most High is gonna put your ass in the death for not following the contract, man. You broken the contract. It says, "Nor to him that giveth no alms." Yeah, and a lot of you wicked niggas don't even give no money to the Most High, man. You know? But you running down after that dealership and get a so-called white man all the money for that damn scat. They call that shit that fucking scat shit. They do so much. Give it dog all your money though. You ain't got no problem with that. You don't mind paying the so-called white man. When it comes to paying the Most High, oh, I ain't got it. You know, you nickel and diamond the Most High, man. So it ain't no good can come to you for not giving alms to the Lord, man. Like I said, so when I see you niggas on YouTube and I see your family crying and everybody trying to say a prayer, you know, I just go to the next video and go look at the next victim, man. and just have a chuckle. You know, I get a nice chuckle, man. Or some of them be so, most of be so brutal. How you put some of these people to death. I'm like, damn. It was one Jake in what, Philadelphia, Philly. They cut his ass up and put him in a suitcase. I don't know what he did, but the Lord didn't like it though. You know, whatever he did, he got paid to have you. For the Lord to have somebody put the spirit on somebody to cut your ass up in pieces and put you in a damn suitcase Shit. You done pissed the Lord off, man. You know, and that's why, like I said in Psalm 73, it's good for me, roughly paraphrasing, to be with the Most High, man. Just like that, your ass could be in that suitcase, man. So let's read that over. This is Isaiah 55:7. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts, and let him return unto Yahweh, and he will have mercy upon him. So yeah, the Most High have mercy on you, man, like he did to me. And to our power, for he will abundantly pardon. So he will abundantly pardon you, man. Now that's one thing about the Most High. He ain't gonna renege on the promises he said he gonna keep, man. You know, he ain't gonna be like, oh, read the fine print. You know, if you say your slate gonna be clean, it's clean, man. He says he will abundantly pardon. So he's like, hey, it's all good, man. Just turn back. You know, but our people say, hey, they got better things to do, man. You know, you got when summer coming up, well, pretty much summer is here already. They got big plans, man. And serving the Lord ain't one of them, you know? We go to Jeremiah. Like I said earlier, man, the 2/3 of y'all gonna get put to death. So the more y'all, the 2/3, the better my chances increase of me making it out of here, man. You know, so I really don't care if you serve the Lord or not when you get down to it. You know, that increases my chances of making it. You know? This is Jeremiah 6:16. 6:16. It says, thus says the Lord, stand ye in the ways and see, and ask for the old paths. So yeah, you gotta ask for the old paths. But this new path leads us to destruction. You know, all this doing whatever you want to do. The ABC lifestyle, you already know what I mean by that. You know, that's the new path, man. You know, you could be a full-grown man today and be a petite. You could identify as a petite 16-year-old girl tomorrow, man. You know, and you got a full beard and you 6'7", and you got to know what. As long as this damn tripod here, man. And you got a mini skirt on, but you're a woman though. So that's the new way, man. And it leads us to death at that. It says, where's the good way? And walk therein. But they're not gonna walk in the good way, man. You know, like I said, it's much easier to do what the hell you want to do and when you want to do it. You know, like I say, hey, you get a good night's sleep. You know, when you're not thinking about how the Most High can jack your ass up, man. You know, you can get a good night rest when you're like, oh man, am I doing something wrong? You know, did I offend this brother, or you know, I'm not doing enough of the work. You know, it's easy to be on that so like I said, the broad way, man. But when you're on the narrow path, you always thinking, man, did I offend somebody? You know, if I offended the Most High, you know, what I did wrong. You know, I must have done something. You know, your mind is always going once you're in this truth, man. Because we all you know, worthy of death. We all broke the law. We all sin and we still sinning. So, and that's punishable by death, man. So you got to be walking on eggshells, so to speak, with the Most High coming into this, man. Me coming out here once a week, hey, you want to get down to it, it really ain't enough, man. I should be doing more. Truth be told, I should be doing more. I should be coming out here at least twice a week. But I do my videos on YouTube, but still, I'm not doing enough. This is Jeremiah 6:16. Thus says Yahweh, stand ye in the ways and see, and that's for the old paths. So where can you find the old paths, man? In the Bible, man. The whole book, the volume of the book, man. Because you got these people, they just Old Testament believers. You got some just New Testament. You got to come in the volume of the book. You got to come in the volume of the whole book. It says, where's the good way? And walk therein. And ye shall find rest for your souls. But they said, we will not walk therein. So yeah, how people not going to do it, man? They want to go down Bourbon and cut up. The men want to be women and the women want to be men, and that's just the light stuff. Who knows what they into these days? I done lost track. What I'm saying, I'm talking about somebody who's been out the world for going on 8 years, man. So who knows what they involve in these days? Verse 17. Also, I have set watchmen over you, saying, hearken to the sound of the trumpet. So yeah, the Most High said, watchmen, men like myself, over you knuckleheads, man. Saying, hearken to the sound of the trumpet. And I'm blowing the trumpet, telling you all hell is getting ready to break loose, man. This war with Iran is getting ready to kick back up. The Strait of Hormuz is still closed, man. It's still closed. And they saying, hey, another month, maybe, was it mid-July or August or something, if I remember right. Talking about all hell's gonna break loose, man. They already saying between now and the next few weeks, but they saying about the middle of August. Oh, you might as well cancel Christmas, man. You might as well get you what you saying, a damn fortress, man. A armored redoubt. Because you're gonna have to shoot it out with your neighbors, man. Once the economy collapses and the stores go empty, your neighbors know you got a whole pantry full of goodies over there, man. They know you still got some ramen noodles in them cabinets. And they gonna want in on that, man. They gonna want that last can of Spam you got. And they gonna fight you to the death for it too, man. Because no matter what goes on, you still gotta eat. You still gotta drink water, man. And when that runs low, you're gonna see people lose their damn minds out here. They're gonna lose their fucking minds. You're gonna see cannibalism come back in a major way. You can like, damn, I know he ain't had food in 2 weeks, But how the hell he barbecuing, man? And you gonna peep out the window and you gonna see, either his wife or his kids on that grill back there, man. You gonna see a rib cage back there. Or you don't mess around and find out. It'll be you on that grill, man. You know? It's gonna be Jessica on that grill. So I'm blowing the trumpet telling you all these things are coming, man. The famine, the economic collapse, stock market crashing, the shortages. So the Most High set me up to tell you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, man, that he's getting ready to pay you back in a major way. You're gonna be fighting out here for chicken bones, man. You're gonna be out here fighting, to the death over a half-eaten sandwich. Because once all the lights go out, the market crashes, the economy implodes, everybody gonna be on the same page, man. You're gonna be, I'm worth this, I got this. It ain't gonna matter if you can't eat, man. It's gonna be survival of the fittest out here. It's gonna be survival of the fittest. And you're gonna have to do some shit you thought you'd never have to do in your life. Hey, it's gonna be vigilante groups out here, man. And the first to go are the elderly, the sickly, on the first wave, man. Second wave, start getting into the kids and the weak. You ain't got no survival skills, and these independent women, they're gonna be confiscated out here, man. It's gonna be no longer no strong independent women when the economy crashes. When 911 stop working. You're gonna have to find yourself a man for protection, man. Because if not, a man just gonna scoop you up. You gonna have to go where you don't want to go. It says hearken to the sound of the trumpet, but they said we will not hearken, so they ain't gonna listen to me, man. So the Most High told me this before I even came out here, before I got started 8 years ago, that they wasn't gonna listen. They tell you right now, it says we will not hearken, man. We will not listen to what the watchman's saying. So it's no surprise to me, like that one dude, or last year sometime, talking about, oh, you out here, you by yourself, you talking, your people not even listening to you. I'm like, you moron. The Bible told me this was gonna happen. Like you telling me something I already don't fucking know. And little does he know he was my people. That's how stupid he was. But you can't tell so-called Latinos nothing when they working for the white man. If they can work for the so-called white man, that's all that matter in life. They got a job. Trabajo. They working, man. And he was protecting his master that day because I was gonna split his fucking master head wide open, man. They had like they want to try to jump me. I told him, hey, you better be ready, because once it starts, we're gonna fight to the death out this bitch, and the Lord had a way, they backed down, but it's about to get real out here, man. I don't give a damn about none of that shit. You talking about, hey, you put your hands on me, I ain't turning the other cheek, man. We gonna fucking fight it out. You gonna get punched in your cheeks, man. So the so-called Negro Latinos or Native Americans is not gonna harken, man. We try to be peaceful up here. Like-minded men like myself, trying to be peaceful. But guess what? I'm going home at the end of the day in one piece. You ain't finna come here and think you finna whoop on me, punch on me, man. And think it's gonna be an easy win. And it ain't going down like that. It ain't gonna happen like that. Oh shit, I'm at an hour already. Time Cuba. Let me go on. I'm gonna get this Amos 9 and 8. I'm gonna close out on that because I gotta get up and hit the road in the morning, man. I got some things to take care of. So I gotta hit the road. I really shouldn't go, but I'll be nice and show up since they asked me to go. I used to be in that spirit, let the dead bury the dead, and I'm still in it, but sometimes, the spirit be like, oh, just go. So this, I got nothing going on tomorrow, so the spirit had me go check out this funeral tomorrow, man. I really don't do funerals. I'll go for a couple minutes. Show my face a couple hours. I'm gonna ride out. This is Amos 9 and 8. Behold, the eyes of Most High power are upon the sinful kingdom. So this sinful kingdom is talking about you so-called Negro, Latinos, Native Americans, or in the Southern Kingdom. His eyes are upon you, man. Contrary to what you believe, that the Lord ain't dealing with you, but He see everything y'all doing. He has the angels watching, and they constantly report. Says the Most High eyes are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, man. So there's nothing you can hide. I don't give a damn how deep in the closet you got something. Most High already saw it, man. Or what you think you finna do, or what you think you got away with. It says, and I would destroy it from off the face of the earth. So yeah, you're gonna destroy the simple kingdom, man. So-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans off the face of the earth. Primarily the ones here in America, man. Now, we all over the earth, but here in America, he's gonna destroy every single last one of y'all, man. With this thermonuclear ICBM missiles that's gonna get ready to hit the shores of America, man. When this World War III actually pop off hot. You know? All the 2/3 been slated for death. You know, and you're not gonna make it out alive, man. We're going to you're going to come back reincarnated in the kingdom of heaven, man. In your right mind. And that's another thing. You know, you niggas ain't gonna be in the kingdom of heaven, you know, being a bunch of niggas again. You're gonna be kings and priests, man. You're gonna be keeping the law, statute, and commandments. You know? So that's a beautiful thing too. It says, saving that I would not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, says Yahweh. So he's not gonna utterly destroy the house of Jacob, man. Meaning the elect. He's gonna let some of us live and make it out of this, man. The 1/3, the elect, is gonna make it out of here, make it out of America, man. I said we, but Lord willing, you know, gonna be delivered, man, for the nuclear destruction, through the Jacob's trouble, through the economic collapse, through the famine. You're gonna make it through all of it, man. Yeah, some of us gonna get put to death for not taking the mark of the beast. But the elect is still gonna make it out of here, man. You know, whether scripture says some of us won't taste death, man. Some of us gonna go through all of it and won't even die this time around. But some of us will. Who knows? Like I say, only time will tell. So the Most High, like I said, his word, you can take it to the bank. He said he's not gonna utterly destroy the house of Jacob, meaning all you tribes. You know, the 1/3 is gonna make it out of here. Gonna be delivered. And we're gonna watch the destruction, man. The chariots, man. You know, we're gonna actually see that lake of fire where they speak about in Revelation. When we looking down throughout the glass of the so-called UFO, man. Watching you people getting y'all asses snooped to a crisp, man. Radioactive dust. You know, like I said, beating into powder, man. Most times gonna beat y'all asses into powder. Damn. What was that? Cold, man. He said not only do he want to kill you, but he's gonna turn your ass into baby powder, man. You're gonna be nothing but ash. Woo, you know the Lord mad at your ass. You gonna put your ass, grind your ass down or burn your ass to powder, man. We. So the elect gonna make it out of here. Like I said, some of us gonna get thrown in jail, prison. Some gonna get our heads cut off, put to death. But the elect gonna still make it out of here, man. He's not gonna utterly destroy the whole house of Jacob. So even Yahweh Shah said it when he was talking, he was speaking, he was saying, if some of you standing here won't taste death, meaning in this generation, this time around. Because the reason why he said that, because he knew, speaking to the disciples, his disciples, he knew that those men, same men, was gonna come back reincarnated and be back here during these times, man. And he was telling them, hey, some of y'all ain't gonna see death, man. And hey, you know, I'm willing to ride on those odds, man. I take those odds. You know? Maybe I make it. Maybe I won't. You know, I'm cool with that. You know, so if you get put to death before the deliverance, still good. You know, because you're gonna be the first one to rise up when the Lord come back. You're gonna be right there side by side with the Lord when He comes back. So you don't lose, man. You know, you get put to death, but your spirit lives on, man. And you're gonna be the first to rise with the Lord. You're gonna be able to ride out with that, you know, like on Boondocks. Be able to ride out with the Lord, you know. You know, and when He come back, He gonna clamp down on the so-called white man and the wicked man. You know, because the first time He came back as a lamb, you know, He came back other times, but I'm not gonna get into that. That's a whole another story, you know. But when He came back as a lamb, when He came back as Yahushua the first time, and then when He comes back again as Yahushua again, He coming back as a lion this time, man, as a man of war. He coming back to fucking play patty cake, man, and ask you how you been doing. You know, He coming back to get busy, man, get active. You know, and you know that's what I like to hear, man. Cause I ain't like that Jesus character, man. Jesus was Jesus was a bitch, man. You know, he a fucking pushover. You know, I was like, man, that always rubbed me the wrong way. I was like, man, I want to serve somebody who fucking letting people just fuck them over, and he talking about getting back at them. You know, that didn't sit right with me. I was always about paying somebody fucking back. You know, and then you know once I got into this, when the Lord say the vengeance is mine, you know, so I had to chill out on that. You know, let the Lord do His thing. But I was like, man, I don't know about this Jesus character. This motherfucker weak. You know, he don't want to do nothing. You know, but then I got into this truth. I started finding out how the Lord gonna come back and fuck something up. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in the right place now. You know, because Yahushua ain't weak, man. He coming back to do killing, and, and Lord knows I'm with that. You know, Lord coming back to kill, and I'm all for it, man. You know, and then He even gonna command some of us. Well, you know, the elect, the 144,000. He's gonna tell you to bring the ones who don't want to submit and serve Him, and the other parts of the world. Hey, bring their ass to Him, man, and pretty much put their ass to death. You know? Man, ooh. I can't wait. Can't wait to see that. I ain't talking about purging the rebels, man. Fucking rebels gonna get purged. You know? So hey, man, I'm gonna close it out with that. I know that was a little off topic, but Spirit hit me, man. You know? Hey, just sitting here patiently waiting on the Lord, man. Come fuck shit up. You know? Waiting for the Lion of Judah to show up, man. To get this shit started. And I'm gonna go ahead and close it out with that, man. Before I get out of here, I'll give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushua, Hashem, Rakakadash, Shalom.